Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Beepis Bodcast. This is a podcast that I made because I decided that I like Friday Night Funkin', and so I'm going to make a Friday Night Funkin' themed podcast. Today we have our
With
first
my help.
guest. Yeah, with help from our first guest, Brennan, also known
Hello.
as the famous streamer Little Mavs, who is
Not
apparently
one.
famous.
Nope.
Apparently.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So,
Also, I'm not streaming right
so,
now
so Little
because my
Mavs.
laptop can't up.
Why don't you tell us about
Also,
how life is as a famous streamer, Mr. Little Mavs?
you know, I go to work. I
Anyways,
I can't afford a new computer, so I can't stream right now.
anyway,
Um,
back to
but
the
don't worry, I
actual
got a new
subject.
mic.
Back to the actual subject that's actually important. The reason that I
Uh-huh.
made a Friday Night Funkin' themed podcast originally was just because I liked Friday Night Funkin'. But then I had an
And
incredible idea. What if
with
I
my
made a
help.
podcast where I talk while playing Friday Night Funkin', so my brain doesn't work properly? And then the guests ask me questions and shit, and I ask them questions, and it's a podcast, but I'm just playing Friday Night Funkin', so my brain
Uh,
doesn't work properly. Unfortunately,
okay.
it's not going to be happening for this first episode because this is an introduction to the podcast.
It's also
But
2 in the morning.
it's also, yeah, it's 2 in the morning.
It's 3 in the morning for
It's three
you.
in the morning where I am. Uh, so that's going to be
But
what
to
the
be
podcast is going to
fair,
be about, and it's going to
you
be
did not
fantastic.
come up with this on your own.
I did.
I
I
put you
did.
on Brazil Atlantis,
Shut up.
and then we were talking about
We were in
mermaids, and I was
another
like, "Oh
Discord.
wow,
We were in another. We were
this
to explain
is
to
this
explain the
is a
exact
great
original idea.
podcast
Shut up.
idea."
Shut up. To
I'll
explain the
stop my sword.
exact Well, welcome to the podcast. Shut up, guest, who's supposed to be talking. Shut up. Let me
Co-host.
let me explain the actual original idea for the podcast. So originally we were in my friend's Discord server, and Mr. Little Mavs over here was a mod, and he created a little server called Brazil Atlantis, and he
That's in
sent me
Brazil's
there.
basement.
And then and Brazil's basement, and when I came back to the
And
original
Brazil.
voice channel, I made up this whole story of what happened. And Mavs here said that that was like a podcast thing. And I was like, oh, wow. So all this normal shit that I just come up with normally is apparently podcast worthy. I had no idea. Let's make a
I
podcast.
exclaimer, it was not normal at all.
Disclaimer, you idiot.
Yes, exclaimer.
Disclaimer. It was not
Excla-
normal. But I came up with the whole Friday Night Funkin' idea where I play Friday Night Funkin'. That was all me.
Are you currently playing Friday Night Funkin'?
No, I said earlier.
So
If
then
you
you're
had been
lying.
if you had been paying attention, I said earlier that we won't be doing that on this episode because this is the introduction episode to the podcast. Next episode will be the episode where you are an actual member, which is happening. Spoiler alert. You'll be an
Oh wow.
actual member, and I'll be playing Friday Night Funkin'. And then in the episode after that, we'll be having another secret guest who may or may not also become a member.
Is it someone that I know?
Yes,
Someone that I'm related to?
yes.
Okay, good to know.
But don't spoil too much. It's a surprise for the viewers.
Oh no, it's almost like he's been on
Especially
my stream
since he's
before.
not at all especially since he's not at all known by anyone other than us and his friends. So all of the viewers who are going to be random people will have absolutely no idea who he is.
That's the best part about this podcast. We get a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, we are
But
a bunch of nobodies, and that's basically the
correct.
entire podcast. A bunch of
Except me.
nobodies, one of them is kind of good at Friday Night Funkin', one of them is kind of a streamer, and they just talk, and maybe this turns into something, but probably not. And you could quote me on that when this becomes a famous podcast. You can
It
quote me
probably won't be.
when this
Oh wait,
beco-
look at that.
when this definitely becomes a famous podcast. You could go back to this first episode and listen to me saying that this will never turn into anything because it will not. That's
It
impossible.
will. It
So
will.
anyway, starting
will.
to ask questions here. Mavs or Brennan, as you go by me and your relatives and friends. What is it like? How
Correct.
difficult is it being a famous streamer?
You just asked me this earlier, but that's fine.
No, I asked what it was like being a famous streamer. This is how difficult is it being a famous streamer? Like, is it hard to like manage your fans and keep up with live streams and shit?
Um, so probably the hardest part about live streaming is having the technology to be able to do it. Honestly, I haven't been able to stream recently because, well, I need a new computer and my laptop won't stream good on the games that I play, especially since I have two extra monitors set up for it. Um, so what I'm waiting for right now is to get a car and then get a new desktop so that I can stream and maybe a streaming computer as well.
On the topic of
Um,
on the topic of real quick getting new stuff and doing new things, um, I'm hoping to decorate my room that I have a bit more. I'm gonna get like a desk and shit. I'm definitely gonna get a better microphone, maybe a desktop computer, and then the quality of just everything that I do will greatly improve. So that's gonna be nice when that
yeah.
happens.
I will be the best selling person on here, but we don't need to talk about that. Um,
You're gonna be the favorite guest, and I'm gonna be the favorite host.
well, I'm gonna be on every podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Anyways,
you're gonna be the favorite member. I'm gonna be the favorite host, and then any other new members that we get are just gonna be like there.
hi, how's it going?
We're gonna be the OGs. They're just gonna be like, oh yeah, we're here too, and
Yeah,
we
hi.
occasionally talk to them.
Um, but honestly, I have a pretty good community. I have a couple different communities. I have a roleplay community and then my normal community.
What kind of games
Um,
do you stream?
everything,
Everything.
every single thing.
Now Subnautica, since I heard that you got that recently.
Yes,
Yeah,
today,
that's
or yesterday,
yeah. This is gonna be that's gonna be really fun.
at like 7 in the morning,
Yeah,
because I'm good at making life decisions.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yes,
Subnautica is terrifying.
okay, good to
You could
know.
trust me on that one because I actually also have it.
I wish it was multiplayer.
It it would be so awesome if it was multiplayer. They really
It
need to
would
add
be.
that in the next game.
Are they making another game?
They should probably, maybe. I mean, they made
I
Below
mean, they
Zero.
have Sub-Zero or Below Zero,
Yeah,
but
Below Zero, but I doubt that they would stop there because it looked like Below Zero like ended on sort of a cliffhanger, which I will not
Below Z-
spoil. I will not spoil because
Below Zero was like it went by way too quickly for me from what I
yeah,
watched. It was like it's not worth that money almost.
yeah. I mean, like Subnautica was a really big adventure, but that was because it was a really big open world. With Below Zero, it's kind of like
It has a set destination
it's a
for
lot
you.
smaller, yeah, and you get like markers all the time. In Subnautica,
Yeah.
you didn't get those waypoints. You didn't get those markers
Yeah.
telling you where to go most of the time, like except for
You
like
did whatever
the
the crap you wanted.
Degassi and the rendezvous point and like the Sunbeam landing zone.
Yeah.
But out of that, you didn't really get any markers. It just told you
No.
like, oh, the alien thermal facility is like really far down and it's in a heated area, and then you
Yeah.
just went from there. And then once you got there, it was like, oh, the primary containment facility. You get there through like a little crack in the ground, like southwest of here, and then you go off of that, and you just have to go southwest and find it. It doesn't mark it, but in Below Zero, everything is marked.
Yeah.
There's so many markers.
Yeah. It doesn't
It's
appeal
just
to
like,
me
oh,
that.
lily
I mean, it
pad
looks
zone here.
awesome.
Yeah, it does look really cool, but
It just didn't last.
it's just way too quick. There's no
Yeah.
Cyclops either in the game because there's just not that many open areas to go in a Cyclops in.
Yeah. I mean, most of it's ice, so. But yeah, I don't. That's why I play like American Truck Simulator and a bunch of just simulators because you don't have a set destination for you. You get to choose where you want to go.
Yeah. And it was even
So
kind of like that in Subnautica. Like even though there was
yeah,
like a main goal, you could still just do whatever you wanted
yeah. As long as the ghost,
as
oh
long as the
crap,
ghost leviathans didn't eat you.
yeah, yeah. Seriously, but yeah. I mean, There's a sequel, but you could do whatever crap you wanted whenever you wanted.
I remember so many YouTubers, specifically Jacksepticeye, they would like finish the game and then start messing around, and then like either their Seamoth, their Prawn Suit, or their Cyclops would get destroyed, and then in retaliation of that, they would just kill every Reaper on the map. They would just sail it. Because with Jacksepticeye, I believe his Seamoth got destroyed, and then he immediately committed genocide on every Reaper.
Holy crap. Yeah, um I didn't watch Jacksepticeye. I watched Dan.
Dan?
TDM.
Dan TDM. I
Yeah.
remember that guy. I used to watch his Minecraft things.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
god,
talking like
PTSD.
way back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Remember when he had a lab made entirely out of iron blocks with a few gold blocks and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah,
Remember the treasure room?
the treasure room.
Oh, nostalgia.
I remember the oh my god, so much nostalgia. I should watch some of his videos after this.
You know, I've gone back to watching
Betrayals.
Stampy just because of nostalgia.
I
What?
believe Dan TDM
Oh,
was actually my first impression of a British boy. And
yes.
that's I think why I like British people so much.
Yeah,
Well, I mean like British people are chill with me. I don't straight up hate them, which unfortunately a lot of people straight up hate them, but I'm chill with them, and I think it's because of Dan TDM.
yeah,
Him
I
and
can't,
Dr.
I don't know,
Trioris.
because my relative that may or may not at some point be on this show,
Yeah.
um, he introduced me to both Dan TDM and Stampy because I was uncultured and still
Stampy.
am.
I was such an ass when it came to YouTubers as a child because I don't. I say an ass because I don't know how else to describe this. But what I would do is I would find a single YouTuber and I would really like them, and then anytime I found another YouTuber, I would
You leave
never
him.
watch them. I would just
Yeah,
stay on that one original. Like I went to Dan TDM,
yeah.
and I think I remember like encountering Stampy at some point, but then
And it's just like, nah.
watching like two of his videos and then being like, well, that was nice. I'm going back to Dan now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would never change YouTubers at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a really weird thing that I would do.
Yeah.
Speaking of YouTubers, do you know Sunday?
I never watched him.
I watched quite a bit of him. He played with Kramer. I forget his name. I
I
forget how
have,
to say his name.
I have no idea.
Sorry, person who played with Sunday. But Sunday fucking
Sorry.
Sunday and him had a feud where it was like cobblestone versus dirt. They would do skyblock, they would do golden cobblestone. Um, Way in the early days, he would actually curse Mr. Sunday, but then he stopped and became family friendly Minecraft YouTuber.
All right.
Um, and then eventually he went on a religion thing for a while, and that was kind of weird. But you know, I get it. Religion, it's
Uh-huh.
nice. It's
Yeah.
nice thinking that you're not just gonna go into oblivion when you die, which is, you know, that's good.
Hmm.
But I watched Sunday for quite a while, and that was like my bread and butter when it came to YouTubers. He wasn't British though.
Right.
5 out of 10, he wasn't British.
5 out of 10 just because of
Not British.
that.
Doesn't have an accent, just
needs
American.
needs needs to be more British.
Needs to be more British.
Um,
I say all YouTubers develop a British accent so that they can be more British.
I mean, I used to.
All right, let's stop with this because this is just no.
This is just going nowhere.
Okay, this British thing, this us being British has got to stop because we just can't live up to the expectations of actual British people.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, governor. It's
Hello.
Tuesday, innit?
Yeah.
Oi, this is what happened. Roll up to the Arsenal game.
Stop.
Anyway,
Stop.
anyway,
Stop.
copying Tommy in it aside, back to video games. What other games do you play? Like we went on a spiel about Subnautica for a while, but
Yes. Literally.
do you have any notable games that you've played?
Um, Minecraft.
Minecraft. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's
can't
almost
believe
like
it. You know, I actually haven't played that much Minecraft.
Really?
Even as a kid, like I only played like creative mode. I was too scared to do survival because I thought I would die, which I probably would have, but
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
know how much I died because I never played survival. But recently I played a bit of survival, but
It's really easy.
I haven't beaten the Ender Dragon yet, and yeah, it's really easy and it's really fun, but I don't know, man. It's like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
a
like
slow burn game a little bit, just because it takes a while to really get up into gear and start fighting things. But
yeah.
it's
Once you
like
get it.
oh my god, I think I know where Terraria as well, right? I think I know where the people come
Yeah.
from who say that Minecraft and Terraria is just 2D Minecraft. It's because Minecraft and
It
Terraria
is.
have one thing a lot in common. It's not. They have one thing that's like exactly the same, which is at the start of the game, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a way to skip the night, you end up just sitting there for like 10 minutes just doing
Really?
nothing throughout the whole night. Like in Terraria, the night lasts like 10 minutes. In Minecraft, the night lasts 10 minutes. So if you don't have a bed in Minecraft, if you're not good enough to get a bed for the first night in Minecraft, you just have to sit in your house for 10 minutes because you can't go out because there's monsters. And in Terraria, it's the same thing. In Terraria, there's no way to skip the day unless you get a bed, but that takes a while. And even then, it doesn't just or skip the night. It doesn't just skip the night. It just fast forwards time a little bit. Um, but in
Right.
Terraria, if you don't find like a cave or something to start exploring and start rolling, like the kind of roll progress. Terraria has that roll progress where it's like as soon as you find one thing, it's just milestone after
Yeah, I
milestone.
played Terraria like once with my related person
Yeah,
that
no
may
wonder
or
you
may
think
not be
it's
on the
like
show.
just a 2D Minecraft. You haven't fucking played that much.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
But it's
Yeah.
it's role progression. Like first you find a cave, then you find some treasure, and then oh there's some ore, and then you smelt that ore, and then you got iron armor, and you got iron gear, and then you go back down into the cave, and then you get like silver or gold, and then you get like silver or gold armor, and then you fucking fight your first boss, and then you get these really cool weapons from the boss, and then you go on to the next boss, and then you make armor from that, and then you just go on to the next boss, and then you get access to the dungeon, and then you can go to the queen bee, and then
And
fight
then you
some
go on a rant.
queen, and then you fight some queens, and then you go on a rant, and you talk to your friend about Terraria because he hasn't played Terraria because he's an idiot, and it's just role progression. You just keep going.
Yeah.
That's why like when you boot up
So you gotta
Terraria,
say roll progression.
when you know the game and you boot
Let's
up
just
Terraria,
pick.
the hardest part of Terraria, it's not the bosses or the enemies or anything. The hardest part is getting through that first, just getting into the game part, where you go into the game and then you have to remember what you were doing,
Right.
and then that part is the most difficult because there's just this aura of just I can do this later. You boot up the game and then you're like, I could do this later. I could do this some other time. I don't have to do this right now. And then it just makes you want to stop playing the game because then you're just like, oh, where did I leave off? Ugh. And then you just want to stop playing the game. But as soon as you get past that and you remember, like, oh, right, I was doing this, you go to do that and you're like, all right, I'm done with this. But then as soon as you're finished with that thing, there's a new objective. And then you just keep on going. You just keep on rolling. It's crazy. That's why Terraria is so fun to me because as soon as I get past that first part of booting up the game, it's just fun. Anyway,
Well, that was
so
a 3-minute rant.
yeah, so back to Minecraft. What you were talking about Minecraft. Did you play a lot of Minecraft when
Oh
you were a kid and shit?
heck yeah! Oh
Dang,
heck yeah! Yeah, I so we used to play on the cracked version. Um,
the cracked version.
yeah, like it was free.
Ah,
Like we get it off a sketchy website and be fine.
oh, yeah, that
Uh,
happens sometimes.
yeah.
And
Um,
I'm not saying that to encourage people to go on sketchy
yeah,
websites.
don't
I'm
do
just
that.
saying that
Don't do
occasionally,
that.
when you're a kid,
You
occasionally when
gotta.
you go on a sketchy website and you don't know any better, you go on the sketchy website and somehow it ends up fine.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean
really nice when that happens.
that yeah, that's my oldest or my middle brother introduced it to me, and he's the one that was like, "Fine, you can play." I was like, "Oh yeah, let's go." Um, but yeah, I loved Minecraft. I'd watch it every night.
Damn.
I played it every day.
I
I
feel
was an
like
epic gamer.
I feel like Minecraft was the game that I watched, but I didn't play.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I
because
never killed the
I
Ender Dragon.
watched a ton of Minecraft, but I like didn't play it that much. Because
Yeah.
it just wasn't fun for me. Anytime I did play it, I tried to constantly mimic what other people were doing.
Yeah, that's the thing that's tough about me and
And
being a
I
YouTuber now.
yeah,
Like,
I think like
there's
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
everybody's done something, and you go and watch that, and you're like, "Oh, that's a good idea," and then you come up with your own thing that's similar to that, and then they're like, "Oh, you're copying them." I'm like, "No."
Oh my god. My little sister was telling me about this drama that happened where like there was this artist who created an OC and then they named them something and I forget what they were named. But apparently the name was the same name as an OC that a different artist had created and people started calling them out for copying. But if you had just looked at the pictures of the two different OCs, you would know that even though they had the same name, they were very specifically created by different people and looked very different, but people still called out the other artist for copying just because they had the same name.
Wow.
People will find any reason to call out other people for doing something bad. That's just
Yeah.
human nature,
Yeah.
and it sucks, man.
And honestly, that's the biggest thing with YouTubing. That's the most difficult thing.
But I don't. I think it's safe to say that I don't think anyone has done this that we're doing yet, that we're going to do, where it's just me playing Friday Night Funkin' and trying to be in a podcast at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know how I get when I play Friday Night Funkin', how I just go completely silent and shit. I'm going to force myself to not do that. I have
Yeah.
to constantly be speaking. In fact, I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna mute the game so that I can't hear. Because when I start listening to the music, that's when I stop talking because I'm focusing on the music.
Oh, that's a good strat.
Yeah, just mute the game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember one time when Damon was fucking when you were
Who?
fuck that one guy who may or may not be a member on the podcast. I remember when he fucking we were playing Friday Night Funkin' and he decided to do like a live stream of his own where he just constantly retried gospel over and over until he beat it, which is a really hard Friday Night Funkin' mod. It was the old gospel, so it was glitched so that you couldn't hit two notes or something, and it was a really difficult version, ranked like the number one most difficult mod at the time.
Right.
And he was just playing it on repeat to see if he could beat it. And he said that he was like turning off the volume to help him with the game. And then at one point, I started trying like a really difficult mod, and I was playing it, and he was like, "Try muting the volume, see if that helps." And I muted the volume, and immediately completely fucked up and almost died. And I was like, "Okay, no, that doesn't help." And I turned the volume back on, and I got my health back and went back to normal, and I was doing fine again. So I don't know how people do better with muted volume, but apparently some people do, and it's really weird.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with me because right now, um, I hear the music and my fingers just want to tap randomly.
No, yeah, that is the
Um,
thing that happens with me. It's crazy.
it's just random.
No,
I
yeah.
can't focus on it then because my fingers are just taking over, and I feel like, oh, well, this is how it's supposed to be, but no, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's why I find Peculiar Colors, it's a mod, it's so good. Just because the music is really good, but also the notes like match perfectly with the music, and it's really crazy at some points. So sometimes you'll just be in the music, and then you'll just realize that you cleared like a really difficult part, and you'll just be like, "Wait a second, how the fuck did I do that?"
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah.
what other questions you got for me?
Well, let's see here. I asked about gaming. I asked about streaming. What about
Mm-hmm.
friends? How many friends do you have? Are you good at making friends? Do you have a good social life or anything right now?
Oh yeah.
Haha, social life. What's that?
um, but
Fucking
no,
COVID.
seriously,
Fuck you, COVID.
I have a ton of friends. Like 2021 was probably one of the best years for me. I got friends from work.
Damn.
I had tons of friends from school. Like we'd have like 10 people at our table at one point, and we were only allowed to have four.
Man.
Um,
Damn.
so, but yeah, it's just tons of friends. Not only at lunch, but just in other classes as well. Um, yeah, I have a pretty good social life.
Yeah.
It helps
I
whenever.
have 3 friends, and one of them is across the country.
I
So that's great.
um yeah, it's streaming really helped me out a lot
Really?
with getting out of my shell. Yeah,
Damn.
because before that, I didn't have any friends. Like you met me whenever I still lived in Pennsylvania. Did I ever talk to you
I don't I
whenever I
don't
was in
remember.
Jersey?
I don't think so.
No. I was like,
I
hi.
Yeah, I only knew Damon when I was in when he was in Jersey. I'm still in Jersey.
Yeah,
It sucks here.
yeah.
Guys, if you're not in Jersey, don't come to Jersey. It sucks here. Our fucking governor or mayor or whatever, he's a fucking asshole from what I've heard.
I mean, I'm not getting into politics.
I'm not a politic person. I'm just saying
Oh, I am very political.
from what I've heard, he's an absolute asshole or a jerk or an idiot or all three. Anyway,
Uh,
that's
yeah,
something
let's
that
talk about that. Yeah,
now that I think about it, we probably should
that's finally like. Yeah,
we probably should have introduced ourselves like that. Did we even introduce ourselves in the podcast?
yeah,
All
at the
right,
beginning.
let's do a
And I
full
lost 10 million viewers because
let's
you.
do a full introduction. Like a whole introduction right now 26 minutes into the podcast. Hello
Almost
everyone.
27. Hi.
My name is Thomas. I take the role of Garcello in this podcast, as you can see from my profile picture.
This is
And
a D&D podcast.
I this is a D&D podcast. I am the creator and the host of the Beepis Bodcast, which
And
the Beepis Bodcast podcast. I came up with the idea of this podcast and I decided to make it a reality with the help of my friend here, Little Mavs or Brennan.
or
Uh,
Mavs, bro.
yeah, or Mavs, bro. Uh, and I live in New Jersey, and that's my introduction.
Hi. My name's Brennan, or Little Mavs, or
Or
Mavs,
Mavs,
bro.
bro. Yeah.
Most famously known as Mavs, bro. Um, uh, yeah, I am the
Th-
co-creator and co-host of the show, also the guest currently.
for
I
a
live in
second,
Texas.
for a second, I thought you were gonna say, "Hi guys, I'm Brennan or Mavs, bro." And yeah,
Or
that's my
Little Mavs.
introduction. That's my introduction.
No, I kept going.
Yeah, you kept going, which is that's surprising for me.
Yeah, and I know I don't seem the most talkative, do I?
No, you're not very talkative. Compared to the
Wow. Okay.
comparing what you've said so far to the 3 minute rant that I've went on, I'm clearly like slightly more talkative.
To be fair, I've tried to talk, but someone kept cutting me off, so I was like, okay.
I'm sorry, there's just so many topics to talk about. I don't talk
You went on a
anymore.
3-minute rant on Terraria.
Bro, school in my area doesn't exist anymore. I have no one to talk to.
That's a fair point.
And technically, I see this as just talking into the void because I know that someone out there relates to this and someone like understands this, or
Yeah,
someone
they're
out
gonna
there is just
stand up.
willing to listen. So I'm just talking, you know?
Ah, crap, headphones. They're gonna stand up and be like, "That's me."
That's me. I'm the guy with the Garcello profile picture who lives in New Jersey. Yeah,
And then there's gonna be that other guy. Yeah,
yeah,
that's me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Brennan,
I live in. I live in
as the people could
Texas.
see, as the people could see in the YouTube video, however, not the Spotify listeners, I don't believe. As the
No,
people could see in the YouTube video, Brennan here is taking the role of boyfriend from Friday Night Funkin' with the blue hair.
I'm sorry.
Currently fucking up a note.
I'm
That's his
sorry.
name. That's the character's actual name. Their actual name is boyfriend.
Okay, I'm gonna go find a new picture. Just screen my life.
Brennan
Okay.
doesn't. You're not my boyfriend. That's your name. You're
I'm still
nobody's.
single.
You're nobody's boyfriend. That's just your
You're
name.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I was close the other day, but you know what?
And
Screw
I'm
that.
nobody's boyfriend either. Fucking damn.
So how's your love life?
How's my love life?
Yep.
Fucking trash, dude. One of my three friends is a female, and I can't see or talk to her because I don't have any of her contact information, and school got Thanos snapped out of existence, and that's my only way to talk to her.
That's lovely.
And
That's
even then, I
true.
didn't like have any interest in her. She was just a friend of mine. She was cool though.
Right.
I'm not gonna say her name though because I don't want to dox someone. I feel like
That's fine.
someone like since like I'm the guest from New Jersey, I feel like if I started dropping names of my friends in New Jersey, people would be able to find a high school with like all the names of me and my friends, and they're like, "Oh, that's them," and then just fucking kill everyone, and I don't want that.
Yeah, Jersey is in a very big
Sorry,
place.
murderers. I apologize. Just stop going after kids. Go after adults,
Just
all right?
what?
Hey, murderers, maybe start focusing your attention on people who deserve it instead of innocent people. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Because then you get to get out your murder craze and you go after people who are actually deserving.
Wait. What
Or
if
just stop
murderers
or just
murder
stop killing.
murderers?
Murderers.
What if murderers became suiciders?
That would be horrible.
But
The loss of any
they
human
would
life is a
cure.
tragedy.
They
Okay.
would they would
That was
cure
a joke.
their
Disclaimer,
they
that
would
was a joke.
they would cure their craving for murder, and we wouldn't have any more problems anymore.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair solution, but that solution would only apply to people who listen to the first episode of the Beepis podcast.
Do that.
I doubt anyone will listen to the first episode of the Beepis podcast, let alone a murderer.
Hey,
Like,
you
come
never
on.
know. You never know.
That's true, you never know.
I'll put hashtag. I'll put on Instagram hashtag murderers listen. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I should post the first episode of this on Twitter now that I just realized I should do that.
Yeah.
But I should, like. For those of you who clicked on this from Twitter, here's a little secret for you. The Twitter account isn't actually named the Beepis Boppis Twitter account. I'm going to post it on my Twitter account, and I'm going to make it seem like I'm a person who stumbled across the podcast when really I'm just linking my podcast.
So what you're doing? It's
So I'm gonna
but
tweet it
not
out.
self-promotion.
I'm gonna tweet it out. I'm gonna be like, "Hey guys, I found this really cool podcast. It's Friday Night Funkin' based. Apparently, in later episodes, they're gonna be doing some really cool shit." And then I'm gonna like post a link to the YouTube and the video, and then people are gonna click on it, and then they're gonna get to this part in the podcast, and they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, that guy is the Beepis Podcast host," you know? But I'm never gonna mention this in any of
Who's
the
gonna
future
listen?
episodes. So this is
Who's
for that special trivia
who,
is for the OG people who listened to the first episode, or those
the whole way
dedicated people
through?
who listened to the later episodes and were like, "These guys are really cool," and then came back and listened to the first episode. This is for you. This little secret is for you. That
Yeah, the
Twitter
random
account.
people that are just like, you know what? I found this new podcast. I'm
That
gonna
Twitter
listen to it the
account
whole
is
way through.
me. It's me.
Yeah, I'm also gonna post it, but I'm not gonna be stupid with it. So
Oh, I'm not being stupid. I'm protecting my identity by
is
calling
that how
it,
that
by
works?
saying who I am in the first episode. You know, what I'm doing is I'm giving facts and secrets to the OGs and the dedicated fans. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell any of the others about this. Keep this a secret between you and me.
You know they're all a bunch of snitches.
Okay, to those snitches, listen.
And you know what
I'm
snitches
not gonna
get?
say snitches get stitches. I'm not gonna
Okay,
threaten anyone.
you just said it.
I'm just gonna say snitches. Listen, just do that with someone else. Just ignore me. Just
Yeah,
ignore snitching on me. Just go snitch on someone else to satiate
get
that
stitches with
bloodlust.
someone else.
Snitch on someone other than me to satiate your bloodlust. Okay? Anyway, back to
Have you
actual
ever
topics.
snitched?
No, I haven't. I don't think.
Really?
Except maybe when I was like a young child. Back when I would
Holy crap!
chapstick and shit.
I'm a big snitch.
I don't have any memories of this, but my brother told me about this, and the memory of him telling me this is pretty faint, so this is probably like not at all true. But I remember him telling me that as a kid, I would sneak into my mom's room, and like eat chapstick or something, or do something stupid, and then she would find out, and then I would blame him. I would blame my brother, and he would just take the fall. It would just be like, "Yeah, I did it." I would be like, "It was him. It was my brother." I almost said his name. I would be like, "It was him. It was my brother," and then he would be like, "Yeah, it was me," and then I would get off scot free.
What a good brother.
Anyway, back to actual topics that are actually relevant. Let's think of a topic. What's a topic?
You're the host.
Well, right now I'm out of ideas. I already asked you about streamer life, gaming life, and social life. So what else is there? YouTube life. What are your favorite YouTubers?
Uh, why do you have to go into this? I'm subscribed to so many.
Just think of your favorites, dude. That should be easy.
You don't understand.
Go into your recommended YouTube videos. What is the first things that pop up? Who are the first channels that pop up?
Okay, hold on. Let me do
And
this
while
very
he's while
quickly.
you're doing that, I'll talk to our guests, to our listeners, to our audio listeners out there. Love you to death. And that's your first hint at my favorite YouTube channel. One of my favorites, definitely.
Holy crap. Why? No. Oh, God.
Everyone out there, thank you for tuning in to the Beepis Podcast. I keep
Oh,
having
God.
I keep having to look up in the top left corner of my screen to see what the name of the podcast is. The Beepis
Do I
Podcast
remember?
Podcast.
How do I remember it better than you?
I don't know. Probably because you're more invested in this. Hey,
Okay,
audio listeners, have you all heard of Game Grumps? If you haven't heard of Game Grumps, I highly recommend you right now look up Game Grumps and look up Game Grumps compilations, and you'll find a channel called Game Grumps Compilations. They do excellent compilations on Game Grumps. I would highly recommend the Game Grumps Sleep Aid because it's just a whole compilation of them laughing and a bunch of funny shit. It's hilarious.
okay, the thing about YouTube recommendations is
They
it looks
suck.
at yes, it
Wow.
looks at what you last watch and is like, oh, here's a video from the next scene, or here's the next video after you watch that. Like, no.
Have you all heard of
Um, what?
Mangalo.com,
I'm
the
sorry.
site where you could read manga? Any of our listeners out there, any of you read manga? Bruh, like, I have some good recommendations. Comment down below that you read manga. Comment down below, I read manga, and I will reply to you with some good
Okay,
recommendations of manga that you should read. And if some of them you've already read, I'm sorry, but, you know,
okay. If there's any Ruby watchers out there,
Ruby?
I have a board. What?
You watch Ruby?
Yes,
I don't.
Ruby is freaking awesome.
I haven't watched it because it's three-dimensional. I'm sorry.
What?
I just don't like three dimensions.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I failed you. I don't watch.
Yes,
I
you
failed
have.
you.
I
So
didn't
what
even.
happens in Ruby? What's it about? I haven't watched it. What's it about?
Holy crap! You're talking about 8 volumes.
Do you watch Ruby or do you read it?
I watch it.
Oh, isn't volumes usually like a thing with reading or whatever?
Yes, but it's volumes and chapters for the show.
Oh.
And then I also have a board game of it. I have a
Oh.
pop figure of Ruby.
Just give me the summary of the first volume.
First volume.
Like, what's it? What's the first volume about?
Okay, time to go into my memory of watching it 16,000 times.
Okay.
Um, Little girl, Ruby Rose.
Oh, hold on. Let me put a little
Okay.
disclaimer. Disclaimer for our listeners here.
If
Um,
you want to watch this, Do
If you want
not
to watch
listen to
this
me.
and you don't want the first volume spoiled, then don't
Go
listen.
watch this before you finish this.
Don't listen. I'll put a timestamp of when this ends, if this ends before the
It,
episode ends.
it will not end.
And for those of you who have watched Ruby, um,
Stay by.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but
Sorry.
Brennan here is about to go on a rant of his memory of the show. So just listen to a extremely watered down version of what you've watched. All right, Brennan, go ahead.
Just know that the majority of the times I've watched Ruby is within like a 2-day period,
Oh,
and it's about a 48-hour series.
oh. So you don't sleep and you just watch the whole thing?
Pretty much. Like I've stayed up to like 5, 6 before,
I don't think I've ever done that, maybe.
and then I can't sleep past like 7. So health. Um. So, but I've watched this like 50 times.
Uh,
Um. So starts off some villains, and well, the funniest part about Ruby is the shade people, because it was like one person making it
I
originally.
feel in my soul the people clicking off of the video.
Yeah, me too.
As soon as you start speaking, they just all. As soon as I stop talking and you start, it's just everyone leaves.
Yeah, everyone just left.
Everyone just leave. Continue anyway.
It's
Continue
fine.
anyway. The rest of this episode is gonna be for those truly dedicated to listening to this podcast.
Who's gonna stay?
And for those people who are leaving as soon as you hear him, don't worry. Tune into the second episode. I'll be talking more. Trust.
Wow. Um.
Wow. Great
okay.
input. Great input there. Wow. Ha ha ha. That was his entire story. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Really speedy version of this, because I don't want people to be bored with my explanation of how addicted I am to Ruby. Girl fights bad guys, gets in the Beacon Academy 2 years early. Noxo falls into a rich girl's luggage, then explodes because the luggage is dust, and dust can explode because that's what gives them their powers. Initiation begins. The cranky rich girl and the happy-go-lucky Ruby go eye to eye, because that's how initiation starts. That's how you get pairs into teams, and then you have to find a relic. If you pick the same relic up as the other team, then that it will be your whole team. We continue. Hold on, give me a second. I want to make sure I'm not going into volume 2 here.
You don't want to slip into that volume 2 territory.
Yeah, seriously. A little bit more fighting goes on. A little bit of drama. Ooh. And there's
Is that your description of the drama?
Ooh.
A little bit
Well,
of
it's like
a little bit of
love.
drama. A little bit of
It's-
drama. Ooh.
There's a little bit of
Not gonna call. I'm
romantic-
not. Okay, fine. I will call attention. I did 3 times try to say drama and almost said genre.
genre.
I don't say drama that much because there's not much of it here in New Jersey. We only have sadness here in New Jersey, no drama. Everyone's sad already. Everyone's too sad to make drama. Anyway,
What is
continue.
drama?
Continue. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, great.
Um,
On the
Okay,
topic of
moving
anime,
on.
on the topic of
okay.
anime, have you watched Blend S?
I have not watched any anime other than Ruby.
Oh my god! I'm gonna tell you about Blend S.
Oh,
Blend S. I remember it was the
It
first.
sounds like it's a freaking like advertisement.
It was the first anime I ever watched, and it was incredible. I am so happy that I wasn't stuck with something like Eromanga Sensei as my first fucking anime, or Boku no Pico. I haven't even watched those ones yet, but I have heard that they are awful. and I believe them. I'm not gonna watch those because I believe the people who say that they're awful. But Blendes was the first anime that I watched, and it was great. It's about this girl, right, who she's trying to get a job, but she has this really menacing look. She just has like resting scary face. So every time she goes to apply,
Resting scary
yeah, I
face.
don't want to call it resting bitch face because she's not a bitch. She's a really nice person, but she has resting scary face. So every time she like goes to a job interview, she always messes up because she's got a really scary face, just a really scary resting look.
Right.
And eventually she encounters this coffee shop where it's like a role coffee shop where the waitresses play different roles. There's Tsundere, Big Sister. It's basically like a harem, but without like a person who's actually dating all of them. It's just like a bunch of girls, basically. But I found it adorable. Uh, so they have let's see,
Ah,
they have
yes. Watching an
S-
anime full of little
Sade.
girls.
No, they're not.
Adorable.
They're literally looking for jobs. They have a job at this coffee shop. They're not little girls. They're like fucking adults or some
This
shit.
seems like Barbie anime.
Oh my god, it was so adorable and it was so fun. And I'm so sad that there's not a season two. I don't think there's a season two. There might be season two. I should check later. But I just remember it's basically about how she gets a job at the coffee shop as the sadistic character, just because she has that look on her face all the time. So like this one is perfect for you, and she keeps on like trying to be nice to people, but it ends up coming off in a sadistic way. But the customers really like it, so it doesn't scare off business, so they keep her around. And like it starts off with just like two waitresses, her and someone else, and then like the chef or the cook or the whatever he
Yeah.
is, and the manager as well. But the fucking other guy who's not the manager, he has green hair. I forget his name, but he was amazing. From what I remember, he was like the best character, one of the best characters. And they introduce these other characters over time, these other waitresses. They introduce the ones from my memory are the one who's a little sister, who's actually like a fucking adult. She like drinks wine and everything, but she's just like really short. So
Who doesn't drink wine?
she plays like the little sister character, and she was really great. And then I remember the lewd one, um, who was hired at the shop because she left a lewd magazine there, and then she came back to get it, and then she got hired because she was interested in the shop. And then the other one that I remember, and this is nothing to say about me, I'm pretty sure anyone would have remembered this one, but the tomboy or
Oh
whatever,
boy.
or no, not the. Or wait, no, yeah. It was the tomboy character who was called the tomboy character, I think. Um, but it was a boy who just looked a lot like a girl. And I remember he and the lewd one were friends, I think. And that was a really nice friendship, and I really
Why
liked it.
does that come to no surprise to me?
Because when there's a femboy in an anime, of course you're gonna remember that because it's like, oh, fuck, the femboy. But at the time, I wasn't at all attracted to them. I was like, oh wow, it's a boy who looks like a girl. That's kind of interesting. Because at that point, I had no idea what sex was.
All right,
I don't
guys.
think.
So Thomas is gay.
No, I'm not. Fuck you. Asexual, bitch. Fuck you.
That's why he isn't got a
And there are
girlfriend
going to
yet.
be so many comments and so much hate. Why are you asexual? Fuck you. In the comment section of this video, I know it. And people are going to have no reason to say that, but they're going to because people hate everything.
Hold on, I gotta Google something really quickly.
What? You said that so.
Nothing.
It sounded like you said, hold on, I gotta go do something real quickly, and not, hold on,
No.
I gotta Google something. Jeez. You're so muffled. Anyway, Blendes, I highly
Wow, that's
recommend that.
so
I highly
sad.
recommend that anime. What?
You.
Did you Google what an asexual is? Do you not know what an asexual person is?
Didn't. I didn't.
Bro,
Now I realize that it is so sad.
Red from OSP is asexual, and she is awesome. There's
So
a
sad.
there's a thing for some of you listeners to pick up on. If any of you listen to overly sarcastic projections, there you go. Fucking here's another asexual human being for you. And for those of you who don't listen to OSP, go listen to OSP. Overly Sarcastic Productions. I'm gonna give a shout out to every fucking YouTube channel on the planet in this first episode.
You're not gonna have
Go
any
watch
left.
Game Grumps. Go watch OSP. Go watch Blend S. That's our YouTube channel, but it's an anime. And
All right,
screw
this is
Ruby.
gonna have to
Screw
be.
Ruby.
No,
And
Ruby's awesome.
on that note, we're 50 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah,
I think it's
it's
about time we
3 o'clock.
wrap this up. It's 3 o'clock. I have to go to
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, me
Um,
too. My
thank
dad
you,
said.
everybody.
My dad
Thank you,
literally texted
everybody.
me, "Don't stay up too late."
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this first episode of the Beepis Bodcast.
Yes,
Beepis podcast. We will be back in the future, probably tomorrow, with more
talking about
episodes.
dad
And
bods.
I'm going to do my thing where I play Friday Night Funkin' for the entire podcast. And you get to see my brain melt, so enjoy that when that happens.
Yeah, I'll
Tune
be
in
doing
next time.
schoolwork while we do the podcast.
Tune in next time for more funnies, and then tune in the time after next time for possibly a new member, definitely a new guest. Thank you all for listening, and farewell.